Hello, everybody. My name's True Demon, and I'm the Devil's Stockbroker. This is going to be a quick video on the semiconductors market, as well as some of the discretionary consumer cycle, mainly focused on stocks like Nvidia, AMD, Intel, as well as Tesla and some of the other discretionary sector stocks. The reason why I'm calling these out in this video specifically is because we have a major black swan event that is coming together in the form of a Chinese intervention in Taiwan, as well as the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company trading under the ticker symbol TSM. I strongly encourage you to watch this video through to the end and be prepared for what's about to come in the market, because this is likely the sector that is going to lead to the rest of the crash to come further on into next year and the remainder of 2022.
So I'll cover the tech sector last and save the best for last. Netflix is one that I'm expecting to retrace very heavily. You see we have this ascending wedge right here that it's formed, and we broke that just on Friday. Thursday actually, and then we held it on Friday. So a rejection here. You'll notice that it took a long time to fill this gap that formed, and now it's getting ready to go and move straight back down from where it came from. So I'd anticipate Netflix retesting these levels within the next 2 months. 140 for Netflix seems very much within the cards. Again, with the expectation that this week we could see a very short burst rally and then a very rapid sell-off to follow. So I wouldn't waste time looking for long positions. I would only wait for opportunities to get better prices for short positions. But it's not something that I would wait too long on, because you're getting lower lows or lower highs in the MACD, definite consolidation to the downside. Volume direction candles are double topping. And unless there's like some fundamental change, some big news to stop Netflix from losing money, I think that these bearish divergences combined with this double top pattern in the volume direction candles and the lower highs all show technical downside all the way back to the bottom of this channel right here at 145. And I think that we'll see that happen probably by the time we get to March. The earnings especially, I expect to be particularly disappointing. This will probably be a make or break moment for Netflix. If you go all the way out to the weekly chart.
Business-wise, you mean, or you mean just as far as if they go up and down?
What was that, Phil?
Do you mean like business-wise, like they're going to start declining permanently, or just?
I never speak in absolutes. Like, I'm not predicting the death of any business when I say this, but when I'm talking about like their potential for the duration of the next year, their long-term outlook for the next year or two. That's what I am talking about. Yeah, because Netflix is a very large company. They have a really great product, but we're in the middle of a recession and people are cutting costs. They're losing customers. They're trying to shore it up with ads, which is kind of alienating more of their customers. So it's not working out in their favor exactly. And the way I look at this is that Netflix was way overvalued from the get-go. They pushed value more than most other companies did during the pandemic. Like from October 2019, they were up 184% with an already incredible valuation back from 2019, and they only went crazier from that point forward. So even though this is their even though they are back down to pre-pandemic lows, I still think they face one more rejection to the downside as a part of this big economic recession, depression, whatever you want to call it. I think that we could be in for something much, much worse. And Netflix is one of those like recurring expenses that I think that people will end up cutting in the long run. So Nvidia is another one that I'm looking at. We have this giant shooting star on Nvidia's weekly candle chart. This is this to me was like very clear rejection. It had a very powerful run, and then it abandoned. It had this bearish abandoned baby candlestick pattern, on Tuesday, December the 13th, and then rejected from there. So I thought we were going to potentially break this descending wedge, but now I think that we're going to have to touch the bottom of it one more time now. So for me, Nvidia is one of my biggest shorts. I actually had shorted them starting at just before their earnings, and caught this move to the downside when they retraced from their 200 period EMA down to the 100, and that was a great move. We took profit on that. It was a fantastic play, and then they started forming this wedge here, and now they overshot it, and now they're breaking down again. And I don't understand it because Nvidia is hemorrhaging money. So I don't know what the institutions are thinking, why they're so. I don't understand why they are pouring so much money into Nvidia right now. They're losing money fast. I think they are really overly optimistic for the possibility of what Nvidia is doing with Microsoft to build a new quantum computer. They're trying to break into quantum computing and semiconductors, and they're just burning through cash doing it. Way more cash than they have available, and their sales are in massive decline because of the aftermarket availability of graphics cards after the crypto crash has happened. And we're not even through the worst of the crypto crash. So once the crypto crash fully occurs, everybody's going to be selling off all their old graphics cards. You're going to be able to get so many aftermarket graphics cards for such cheap prices. Nobody's going to want those stupid Nvidia cards that are like, they're marginally more performant, but they cost 2-3 times as much as what's available on eBay. So nobody wants to buy them. Their last earnings showed such a massive decline. They lost more than 20% of market share for semiconductors to the gaming sector alone, which was it was such a huge decline. I'm shocked that their stock didn't tank faster. But somehow it held up and somebody's still buying it. And I think it's lunacy personally, but either way, Nvidia has basically rejected all of these. It's rejected the 200 daily simple moving average, the 200 EMA. It overshot and then came back below. Now it's closed below 2 days in a row. And yeah, the way I see it, Nvidia is due for some pain. So that's this one is my biggest short. I think that we may see one more push to touch this simple moving average and then confirm the rejection right here. So if you're not in a position, you're looking for more, or you're looking to get an entry, you can try and wait for that opportunity to grab a share of a short position or buy puts or something like that. I would go with puts just because it's less costly and less risky for, like, if something crazy happens and Nvidia does end up going back to the upside, I always account for that. Always hedge. But for me, when I look at how Nvidia is doing, I think that it's going to be one of the ones that suffers the most from the next season. If they do not turn around their Christmas sales, then this earnings report for February to report their Christmas sales of graphics cards is going to be the ultimate signal of destruction for Nvidia, I think. And I like their graphics cards and all, don't get me wrong. They make great technology. But fundamentally, they are spending way too much money. They are not protecting themselves. They're not keeping themselves safe. They need to be saving cash, and they're putting themselves in a position where they're going to have to start taking on debt that they can't afford if they keep it up. So I'm actually bearish on the entire semiconductors sector, the SOX semiconductor sector. You can see this wedge that's formed here on the chart. This one is definitely, like, it's not quite a diamond top pattern, but like it hasn't been breaking this level at all. It tried with the CPI print and it rejected so hard. And it's very similar to this double top formation that happened in August, right before the semiconductor sector just fell off a cliff. So from peak to trough, this was a down 32% move after just 2 months. So semiconductors is probably one of the ones that's going to suffer the most the quickest, like right away, because it'll be more obvious for them based on business response and sales. So Nvidia is the one I think that's the worst positioned. AMD will probably do okay, but it's still going to go down in my opinion. Nvidia is already starting to make that move now. Just because it's not the biggest, right? Nvidia is the biggest. Nvidia and Intel are the two biggest semiconductor producers out there. And AMD is already starting to suffer a little bit. But AMD is making the right business moves. They're saving cash. They're making sure that they've got all of their latest technology. Their products are much more affordable, and they do target the gaming sector more so than the crypto sector. So at least AMD has a chance to, target the right sectors to keep their business rolling in. But ultimately, I think that because of the crypto crash, like that's everything that they really want to pretend is not as big of an issue as it is. It's not just the crypto sales. It's all about aftermarket, resale market, all of that.
What about like Taiwan semiconductors?
Isn't that TS or TSM? Yeah, this one's also doing the same thing. I didn't even look at them, but yeah, these are the biggest semiconductor producers in the world. They produce all the materials, and they're doing the same exact thing. You look at how their stock gapped up like this. This one could be the worst of them, actually. Their earnings is coming up very quickly. And their period ending December 22nd, they report their earnings in mid-January. Their performance is going to dictate the opinion of the market, the sentiment of the market for all the other semiconductor sectors. So when this thing starts tanking, it's going to drag down Nvidia, Intel, and AMD, and all the other semiconductors. Texas Instruments, all of them are going to start hurting from this fallout. And if China continues to get aggressive, then this will start free falling again. They just had their dividend record date announced. It might be too late to enter. Like by the time we get up on Monday, this one might already be dropping because it's already in the gap. Like look at how big this gap is. There's gaps here, here, and here, and it's already halfway through the first one. There's a lot of air. Like it can fall all the way down to 65 or lower. There's nothing here. These guys are hurting this badly, and we see the market start coming down like it the same speed that it started moving up. Then this is going to hurt all the other semiconductor producers. MACD rejected too, I just noticed. You had this bearish cross down right here. Oh, and a bearish divergence. That is a higher high on the price chart and a lower high in the RSI. You have a whole series of tops. If this thing bounces at all next week, I'm going to go short on it. Like if it touches the 100 period moving average at all, because it fell pretty quickly. If it touches this at all, I'm going to go short. It might already be too late to grab a short position, but this one looks really, really rough. Let's take a look at Intel. Intel's already moving on its way down. There's really not much to grab here. There's only so much left. That's hardly worth chasing. Let's go back to the big caps. Ah, yes, Tesla. Tesla's been taking a huge beating. There's a descending wedge formed on it, but we have to wait for it to show support and start turning around. I think it'll start to begin to show support right around here at 140. And then for the stock to like do a slow turnaround and then come back up through the descending wedge. It's had 3 touches on the bottom of this wedge so far. So after a fourth, I'd feel more comfortable calling a bottom on it. But I need to see the technicals once that actually happens. And then, of course, we also have to consider fundamentals, because fundamentals now are in far more control than technicals these days.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to watch this video. If you enjoyed the content and you found this information helpful to you in your own trading strategies, be sure to leave a like on the video. It helps out the YouTube algorithm and helps us reach out to others who need this information too. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more. And if you're not a member of Hell's Trading Floor already, consider joining our Discord by joining us at hellstradingfloor.com, which will allow you to sign up for our Discord at discord.gg/hellstradingfloor. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, have a hell of a time in the markets.